It's the Orioles on Masson. We're at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, where tonight the Orioles and Rays get together. It's the middle game in this three-game series. And hi, everyone. I'm Jim Hunter. Thanks so much for joining us. Now, the Orioles in this total rebuild, of course, as they move forward, they are looking to improve every facet of their play while getting younger and more athletic. And there will be growing pains, of course, on the mound and at the plate. But what the Orioles need to do in the forefront is get back to fielding excellence. It was 4 short years ago the Orioles had the best fielding team in the American League, and each year since then it has slipped. In 2015, the O's were the top fielding team in the league. In 2016, a playoff year, they slipped to 4th. Last year, they slipped to 7th, and they come into play tonight with the 12th lowest fielding percentage in the American League at .983. And Jim Palmer, when you're working in young pitchers who are going to make mistakes as they learn, you really need to catch the ball. The Orioles haven't done that all that well. Last night in the game, in fact, it was really the tale of 2 games. 2 outstanding defensive plays helped the Orioles hold the lead, and then it was a bad defensive play that helped Tampa Bay get back in it.
Well, that's pretty much the way the game went. Alex Cobb pitched well, went 7 innings, gave up, 3 straight hits to start the game, and then was helped by his defense. So right here, Adames, he runners at first and second. He's looking for an RBI, and that would have put him ahead, but Nunez, Renato, nice play from the seat of his pants. So a guy that's been working on his defense, excellent play to get Alex out of the play. And then later on, Trey Mancini, probably ideally a first baseman, but again, he gives you everything he can. Nice sliding play. You got to play a little deeper here because of the turf. And again, you're looking for outs. Alex Cobb never shy about his emotions. And right here, after the leadoff walk with a 3-1 lead, the Orioles have taken that lead. Chris Davis. Again, this is something he doesn't do. He's so good with his throws. Pulls Beckham, throws it into left field. As it turns out, they would tie the game and then win on the Adames walk-off home run. And the other thing about fielding percentage, it doesn't tell you the whole story. If you're going to be, especially in Camden Yards, which is a home run paradise, you better make the plays you're supposed to. And I would imagine, at least I hope so, because I played as a pitcher with a lot of great defenses behind me, Jim. You want guys, as we project, that are going to help you win games with their gloves. And right now, that's not really happening.
Yeah, with team fielding, when you think about it, you may go 0 for 4 at the plate, but you can help your team and help have the outcome of the game affected by your defense. And how do you do that? You get better by working at it.
Right, and I think Buck Showalter's always made that point. If you're going to be a catcher, you can't be just a catch and throw guy. You got to be able to call a good game, and then again, you got to be able to throw. We've seen Caleb Joseph threw out last night, actually stole a base too. So again, he's really gone. You got Austin Wynns, who's a fine defensive thing. So I think we're set behind the plate, but they're going to look, and I would imagine they'll project some of these young players to see, okay, yeah, they can swing a little bit. Nunez comes to mind. But will he do the work? And you've got the good coaching staff to help you be a better player. So down the road, we'll see how it turns. Obviously you want to have a good defense. You want to win more than one way.
So the Orioles looking to get even in this series tonight as the Rays walked it off last night. And when we come back, we're going to go down memory lane. Eddie Murray, now back in the organization as an advisor, a scout's take on the future Hall of Famer. nothing to hide. That's transparency. Well, another beautiful day in St. Petersburg. Let's get a look at our game time temperature, brought to you by BGE Home. We know more, we do more. 87 degrees outside, just a slight breeze. That humidity, as always, way up there, but inside the dome, it is a very comfortable, climate-controlled 72 degrees. And welcome back to Tropicana Field. Jim Hunter and Jim Palmer. And Jim, it's great to have Brooks Robinson and Eddie Murray back in the organization as advisors. And we thought it might be fun to look back at Eddie's first season in the big leagues. Of course, he was the Rookie of the Year in 1977. But what did opposing scouts think of the then young Eddie Murray? Well, this is a Texas Ranger scout. He submitted this report after that 1977 season.
Well, yeah, and you look at major league power and clutch hitting, and of course, this is after his rookie year, and I would say, he'd be on his way to a Hall of Fame career, as we all know. I think if you know the Orioles, and again, I really did. I mean, that's Don Sutton right there, and he ends up in the Hall of Fame. So Eddie, switch hitter, but to be honest, and he would end up with 500 home runs, and I don't know, over 3,000 hits. One of 4 players to do that, and he could hit any pitch from either side of the plate out of the ballpark. And but the one thing when he first got to spring training in the spring of 1977, Jim, I'm watching big batting practice, and I go, this kid has no chance. Now, he was a natural right-handed. That's what I know about scouting. But he was a right-handed, he was pretty good, but hitting left-handed, I mean, he'd be kind of going like this and all that. And then the game started. And then I go, ooh, wait a minute, because he looked at situations, he'd sit on breaking balls. He knew the guy out there, he knew his tendencies, and of course, as his career progressed, that David got a little bit better. So again, you can throw your best fastball up and away, and if he was looking in that zone, and he used a real heavy bat, kind of an old school guy in that sense. And then he also, if we looked at the scouting reports, he was adequate fielding, but he became one of the better fielding first basemen, very good on the bunt. And again, he's just what we were talking about earlier in our segment is, hey, he can beat you a lot of ways, and ends up in the Hall of Fame. And he had that look too. He had that look at home plate, and if you're a sports writer, he may give you the look, and you probably really thought, but he was a fabulous guy and still is to this day. So I'm glad that he's going to be back. I told him that maybe he could work with a few guys. Well, you're missing the boat if you don't let him work with a lot of guys, because he really has a lot to say about hitting, and I think he understands if he did it, he would do it with any hitting instructor that's actually helping the Orioles.
All right, that Texas Ranger scout following the 1977 season, we saw what he thought of Eddie's power. What about weaknesses? Here are the weaknesses. 1, lacks experience. Will be a good one. I think that scout was right.
Yeah, well, that's, again, the classic case of the obvious. And, again, he really came a long way. And, I mean, we would go out and on the road and hit extra, and we'd walk off the field because he'd just really be just kind of serving it. But, there was a method to his madness, because the good hitters, they know where the bat head is. And Eddie always wanted to feel that in batting practice, and then he knew his swing. He was kind of, he was kind of like Chapman. Chapman pitches is kind of coiled. That's the way Eddie hit, and boy, what a great career he had.
So Eddie back in the organization as an advisor, of course, like Jim. He is in Cooperstown. There are the stats: 3,255 hits, 504 home runs, nearly 2,000 RBIs. Outstanding. Rookie of the Year, 8-time All-Star, 3-time Gold Glove Award winner. Well, the Orioles certainly could use Eddie Murray's bat in this lineup as they try to get even in this series. Here's a look at the Southwest starting lineup for the O's. Low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. VR, Beckham, and Jones with Mark Trumbo in the cleanup spot brings a 9-game hitting streak to tonight's game. Valencia will be in right field, and Mancini and Davis. Nunez at third, Caleb Joseph doing the catching.
Well, Ryan Stanek, and they don't call him when you're a bullpen guy actually going to pitch an inning or two. They call them openers. So, but he is starting the game, and he does throw, close to 100. Has a little bit of breaking ball. So the Orioles have seen him. And again, I mean, not a lot of at bats, but he's going to go out there and try to match up, give him off to a good start, and usually he's at home has yet to be scored on. And there's the fastball, and it's going to be in the upper 90s.
Well, in his last start, or his last opening appearance, it was last Friday night against the White Sox. He pitched an inning and 2/3. He faced 5 batters, and he struck out all 5 batters. Now, their theory about this is, especially against right-handed heavy teams, as the Orioles are, you bring on a hard thrower, get you maybe through 2 innings. maybe one time through the lineup, and then you go to somebody else.
Well, you're setting up. It's kind of what you want to do in the 7th and 8th innings, but you're doing it early because they lack the starters. Again, it's their bullpen day where they don't have a guy that they feel they can pitch 5 or 6 times. So what you do is you let a guy that would be normally a setup guy, which is what he did. Even though out of University of Arkansas, he was a very gifted starter, but started for the first 3 years and then gravitated to the bullpen, and that's the way they're using him here.
His average fastball is 98 miles an hour. Well, that was 97, and VR fouls it off to stay alive. Stanek, 27 years old. He's from Stillwell, Kansas. And he is still considered a rookie. Got into some games last year. And his career ERA over parts of 2 seasons, 3.39. They are battling at 1 and 2. And he lays off the breaking ball.
Yeah, that's one of those pitches. If you're going to throw it after you're late on the fastball, it better be where it is, but just a little bit too low. So we are not even beginning to swing at it. And of course, if he comes on, then all of a sudden with 15 steals, only been caught twice, he becomes a potential double.
Well, 2 and 2, and a foul off the mask of Michael Perez.
Yeah, you can get away with 98 in the middle of the plate a lot more often than it's somebody that with a lesser velocity. Ball pretty much right down the middle. And that's where the glove went. Yeah, I don't think he wants to go 3 and 2 here, and you would love to make the pitch here. If you do go 3 and 2, and you know who's at the plate, you're going to have to throw it for more of the plate because you don't want to walk. And there's a little splitter. Doesn't throw it a lot, but that's a good one. Bottom drops right down. I mean, straight down. You just see it tumbling, but if you're a hitter, you don't pick up that spin, so it's deceptive because of the break and the fact that it was also, about 10 miles per hour slower.
So Stanek gets his man. He's averaging 11 and a half strikeouts per 9 innings. As Tim Beckham comes up. Tim hit a home run last night, a long home run, deep left center field. Goes after the first pitch and fouls it back.
Well, there is no doubt anybody that's ever seen Beckham knows he's a fastball hitter. That's what he got on the 2-0 count. From Glass now. There's their defense. Smith, Kiermaier, platinum gold glover out in center. Gomez, Duffy, Adames with a walk-off. Wendell, Bowers. Looks like he can play first pretty well. And then Michael Perez behind the plate.
And the 0-1 down and away. Well, Tim Beckham showing signs of his bat coming alive, and last night, boy, did he get into one.
Again, the count, and he got a pitch. I don't think Glasnow took anything off. Still around 97 miles per hour, but he's looking fastball, gets it, and he crushed it. One of the 2 Oriole home runs. Mancini with another one down the right field line.
Well, for Stanek, this is his 5th appearance against the Orioles this year. It's his 3rd start. He's also pitched twice against them in relief. And his ERA is 6.35. The Orioles have tagged him for 4 runs in 5 2/3 innings. However, the starting lineup tonight is a combined 2 for 15 against Stanek. And Trey Mancini has both the hits. Beckham gets in the one, and that ball's going to go, and the O's are going to get on the board. Beckham has homered in back-to-back games and a quick 1-0 lead for the O's.
Well, remember 2008, #1 draft choice in the country by the Tampa Bay Rays was Tim Beckham. So they trade him to the Orioles, and gotta love it coming back here and getting the kind of performance he has the last couple of nights.
And both home runs last night and tonight, no doubt about it, shots. And he can celebrate a little over 97 miles an hour exit velocity after probably about the same coming in from Ryan Stanek. That's the 5th home run he has allowed. And it's the 4th home run the Orioles have hit off him, which is pretty amazing. So here's Adam Jones. Jones crushes one. That ball's back, and that ball's going to go. The Orioles go back-to-back on back-to-back pitches. Number 12 for Adam Jones, and it's a quick 2-0 lead.
And again, remember, hadn't given up a run at home in his last 15 outings. So did give up the grand slam when he started in Baltimore. In fact, all 4 home runs in these two were hit on the road. That ball was even much farther than Beckham's home run. Both of them count the same. Well, Adam, almost, and there it is. And I mean, it's pretty much right down the middle. That's Tim Beckham, and then there you go. And I mean, boy, the loud crack.
And a strike to Mark Trumbo.
Take another look. Here's Jonesy. You know, just pretty much down the middle. You better start giving that target down and away. And
Alex Smith went back, hoping but knowing there's no way he had a shot at that ball. Uh, 104 miles an hour, the exit velocity for Adam Jones.
So Trumbo comes to the plate, and he's been red hot. There is a chance. But the Orioles have done, what, back-to-back home runs 8 times? Maybe go back-to-back-to-back.
Trumbo down on strikes, chases one down and away.
So Ryan Stanek, pretty quick learner. That fastball's not working. I better go with a little bit of cutter, slider, and it's a good one. So he gets the strikeout, gets the second out here in the first.
So 2 down. Ryan Stanek, by the way, this is the 29th time that an opener, as they called him here, has started a game. And the first was Sergio Romo, who is now their closer, on May the 19th against the Angels in Anaheim. And it's pretty interesting, Jim, if you look at the team's ERA for Tampa Bay since May 19th, when they adopted this theory of starting relievers, calling them openers. Their team ERA is 3.54, which is a very credible ERA, especially in the AL East.
Well, they have a good defense. They play in a pitcher's park. And of course, they don't play all their games there because you play some on the road. I mean, they dumped pretty much everybody that helped them not win last year, but they were 80 and 82. I mean, they're 1 game over now, and they're, ended up 2 under last year. But they have hung in there. I mean, Kevin Cash, if you really, I mean, I know that he'll probably get some adulation as far as being manager of the year, but I don't know if there's any manager in baseball that when you give away for trades or dumping salary the way they did, and you're 1 game over 500 after you played 113 games, has done a better job.
And the younger players that they feel the analytics suggests will help them move forward, they're getting valuable experience this year.
Well, you find out if they can play. The Orioles are going to have to try to do that, and you would think eventually they're going to bring up the Mullins and maybe the DJ Stewart, some of the players they project that may be playing at the major league level. The Rays have just accelerated.
Well, 2-2 on Valencia. And he gets him with a high fastball, but a big first inning for the O's as Tim Beckham and Adam Jones go back-to-back. Beckham goes deep first, and the very next pitch, Adam Jones makes it 2-0 O's. Next pitch, he hit number 12, and it gives the Orioles a 2-0 lead in the first. Tampa Bay comes to bat. Here's their lineup for tonight. Smith, Duffy, and Bowers with Wendell in the cleanup spot. G-Man Choi will DH, then Gomez, Kiermaier, Adames, and Perez. Of course, it was Adames last night with the walk-off home run against Miguel Castro.
And Andrew Castro, who doesn't get a lot of runs, usually gets a little over 3. So two-seam fastball, mainly because you usually hit that pitch on the ground. Got them all. So 3.08 runs. They already got him 2/3 of that. A couple of swings in the first. Coming off, has to be his worst start ever. He only got 5 outs, gave up 10 runs, and he did it down in Texas, where he was very comfortable. Last year, 5-5 at home with a 2.62 ERA. Just did not have really command, I guess. It was just wild in the zone, and the Rangers playing well, and they took advantage of it. They ended up winning 17-8. Orioles put 8 runs on the board, but gave up 17.
Yeah, it was one of those nights where when he missed in the happy zone. And pitchers don't like to miss in the happy zone.
Yeah, only 1 walk, or actually 3 walks, but the 7 hits, and it just happened so quickly.
Profar had a big 3-run home run. And then there were inherited runners that scored after he left the game.
Yeah, I think Donnie Hart came in and threw the grand slam to Odor, who had 3 home runs in that series.
Well, Malik Smith leading off here in the first. Cashner gets ahead 1-2. Soft line drive. There's VR, and it's just over his reach. So Malik Smith is now 12 for his last 20.
Yeah, you go back even longer. I mean, he's just been red hot. You go back since the start of July, and he gets to play hitting over 427 games. This one softly hit, but the nature of this park, because it's bigger and because it has turf, is that you play a little bit deeper. Again, there's no ballpark that I've seen yet that is as fast as the infield in Texas, because that was like concrete.
Yeah, the sun just bakes it day in and day out. They try to do a good job there in Arlington, wetting down the dirt. Here's Duffy. He'll take ball 1.
Well, he had a nice night last night. Actually, got a couple of singles early. Hit the potential double play ball after Evan Phillips came in and walked the leadoff man with a 3-1 lead, but that's when those rare missed throws by Chris Davis, and it led to a tie game and then the walk-off home run. But he's a line drive hitter. What, his last 24 hits, all singles? But he's hitting over 300.
Yeah, his last extra base hit, Matt Duffy, was July the 7th at Citi Field against the Mets when he doubled off Steven Matz. 22 games without an extra base hit, and the 24 consecutive singles, the longest active without an extra base hit. Real good off-speed pitch.
Yeah, I mean, he's an ideal second-place hitter, because we saw last night he can turn that fastball inside out. So you got speed with 23 steals at first with Smith, even though he's been caught 8 times, and you have a guy that can use right field, contact hitter. A lot of options if you're Kevin Cash managing this club.
Now Smith on at first base. He loves to run. In fact, he has 23 stolen bases. That is 4th most in the American League. Ozzie Timmons there, the first base coach, he's timing Cashner's move to the plate and then relaying the information to Smith. If they get a favorable time, Smith will take off. This ball's hit to right, playable for Valencia. And he gets back on it. Smith played it halfway, and he's back to first. So 1 down in the bottom of the first inning.
Yeah, unless you're a regular outfielder, if you're Danny Valencia, who, even though he played for about 3 weeks in the outfield, it's a tough place to field, because he has the lights, the fact that you have the ceiling.
And 1 down, and there's that dreaded roof. Although last night when that thunderstorm went through.
Well, it's not dreaded if you're in that capacity, but again, they play pretty well here. I mean, they were 21-4 going into the weekend and lost to but they're 21-7 in their last 28 games here at the Trop. So they play very well here.
Well, Cashner doing a good job keeping Smith close.
And the way you could do that, I mean, obviously you can throw the ball over there, you can hold it, you can slide step. You don't want to slide step and then get one in the middle of the plate and have the game tie, but to just vary your times. Make sure he doesn't get a running lead. And that's what he wants. He wants to be able to time you where, he can get a little motion going. And good base runners, they'll creep a little bit. But again, he's been caught 8 times.
And Caleb's having a real good year controlling the running game. Catching potential base stealers 36%.
He said 10 years from now, what are you going to say about my ability to throw people out? Because I don't have a real good arm. And I said, well, get rid of it quickly.
Footwork.
You're accurate. Your footwork, your pop time. That's the time you get up, get the ball at second base. I said you threw the perfect fadeaway changeup last night. Throw him out.
Smith runs. Here's the throw. It hits him in the back and it rolls into center field. And Smith will end up at third. So the stolen base, Caleb will be charged with a throwing error. And Smith at third with 1 down.
Yeah, take a look, and he really didn't get that good a jump. And it's straight steal. He doesn't even look, but the throw tails a little bit. And you can see Beckham out of nowhere trying to catch it. Again, anywhere close. Wasn't going to get him, but the ball wouldn't have gone into right field. So there's the speed factor. He gets on, a little soft single. The stolen base and in the air, just like hitting the triple, 1 out.
Ball on a strike on Jake Bauers. Line drive towards the middle, and that's going to find a hole for a base hit. Another soft hit. But again, it finds a hole. Malik Smith scores. It's a 2-1 game.
Yeah, you hardly ever see any reaction. That was a little cutter in on his fist, and he hit it off his knuckles. But with a man at third and less than 2 outs, I think the key word is he hit it. I mean, short stroke, got the ball in play. The infield pretty much straight away, and I mean, it was hit like at a snail's pace, but on the turf into center.
So Cashner gives 1 of the runs back. And a pitch taken low by Joey Wendell, who's batting cleanup tonight. Wendell at 289. He's really getting a long look, mostly at second base, but they've also used him in left field. Breaking ball for a strike, getting me over curve.
Yeah, I was looking at his numbers. So he got to play in April, 357, 353, then 263, still very presentable. June, 192, but he still got to play, 360, 462. Those are his batting averages per month. Very, very steady. And they like the way he plays defense. They're all over.
Well, the Rays in this park, and you mentioned it, this is the one pitcher's park in the American League. You wouldn't think it is, but it is. Climate controlled. The dimensions are pretty deep, especially way out there in left center field. It's 404 to straightaway, a little deeper where Beckham hit his home run last night. So you need to have players behind the pitcher. Runner goes, swing and a miss. Caleb's throw is off the glove of Beckham.
Yep, just flat out dropped it.
They had him, and Bauers is safe.
Boy, he is out by a mile. Boy, the little things. He hit the back-to-back home runs, the soft hits, holds him, and it's almost like this was a hit and run. Look at the throw. I mean, all you got to do is catch it.
So stolen base for Bauers. He's in scoring position with 1 down.
Well, he should get, but that's an error. I mean, that is a dead error. I don't know if they still give you a stolen base on an error, but.
Well, the official scorer just said stolen base.
It doesn't, whatever he said doesn't negate the fact that he's at second. But
right.
I mean, I guess he's saying you can't assume that a major league player, #1 draft choice in the country, doesn't catch a perfect throw and tag their runner. That is in the rule book. So if it is, still at second.
And another base hit, and this will tie the game. Mancini comes up throwing all the way through, not in time. So the speed helping Tampa Bay get even, and just like that, it's a 2-2 game.
Well, it's the extra outs. They can call it whatever they want, stolen base or whatever. Beckham catches it, he's not on, and the one thing about Wendell, you could see he doesn't do much. He just tries to put contact. 217 runners in scoring position, surprisingly no number. But it goes up there because of that approach.
So 2 stolen bases, 1 error. 1 error not called and 3 singles, and we're back even. Here's Ji-Man Choi, who is DHing tonight. Castro gets ahead with a fastball. 2 soft hits and then 1 served into left field because Wendell just went with the pitch. Tampa Bay got Ji-Man Choi from Milwaukee. They sent Brad Miller there. Miller has since been released by the Brewers. It's too tight. Choi gets all of his at-bats as a DH against right-handed pitching for Tampa Bay. Tonight he gives C.J. Cron a night off.
Yeah, well, third team he's been with, and he's got power. Hope he'll run into one.
Still only 1 down. So the dreaded first inning. Orioles get 2 home runs off Stanek. And Tampa Bay comes right back with 2 against Cashner. Runner goes, pitches swung on and hit to third. There's Nunez wide of the bag and he guns it to first. So 2 down, but Wendell ends up in scoring position.
Yeah, take a look at the Oriole defense here at the Trop. Mancini, Jones, Valencia, Nunez, Beckham, Villar, and Davis over at first. Caleb Joseph once again behind the plate.
Now 2 down, and that'll bring up Carlos Gomez with the go-ahead run now in scoring position. And he popped him up. Caleb Joseph behind the plate. Las Diaz gets out of his way, and Caleb has it, and the inning is finally over. So Cashner escapes a potential go-ahead run left stranded at second base. We head to the second in a 2-2 game. Every Orioles home run hit in the game tonight, and they've already hit 2. Play home run riches scratch-offs and win up to $50,000. Or enter non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Visit mdlottery.com/homerun. Beckham and Jones went back-to-back in the first. This is the 6th consecutive game against Tampa Bay that the Orioles have put together multi-home run games. Here's Mancini, and he'll take a strike.
And those are what, only the second and third runs that Stanek's given up at home. The opener in his last 15 starts had not been scored on. Well, Trey, and again, 3 home runs in his last 6 games, and that's one of them last night. Not like Smith runs out of room. That ball just gets down the corner about 335 feet.
Late on the swing. He's gearing up for 98, and it comes in at 88.
Well, that's why it's almost hittable, because he tracked it to the outside corner but just fouled it off. And again, I always thought it was more difficult to pitch to guys that can also pull the ball and then hammer it to right field, and that's certainly what his capabilities are.
Fastball upstairs.
And then I think we've seen a lot of teams go up the ladder. Just try to, once they get the 2 strikes, just try to see if he can hit the high heater.
He fouls it off to stay alive. Stanek is one of 15 different starting pitchers that the Rays have used this year. But because of their utilizing of relievers as starters, their staff still has the fewest innings pitched. There's Jalen Beeks beginning to get loose. He was acquired from the Red Sox, or Nathan Eovaldi, who I understand the Orioles are going to see this weekend.
Well, he's been terrific in 2 starts for the Red Sox. And Beeks pitched very well in his last start. He got hammered the first time, left-hander, finesse guy. We'll see him. Fastball, changeup, curveball guy. Coming off a very good, well, not start, but he's kind of a starting pitcher eventually. Yeah. 5 innings against the Angels, and
I mean, you could look at it that, well, why not just start the starter and see how deep he can get in the game, and then you match up late. But the Rays are trying it this way. Mancini to center field. Kiermaier on the run. He gets there and then slides down. May have lost it in the lights momentarily. You see him pointing to his eyes. So Mancini denied and 1 away. And don't forget, the Orioles and Red Sox get together at Oriole Park this weekend. And on Friday, you can enjoy Friday fireworks and music at America's Ballpark, featuring singer-songwriter Carter Faith Jones. After the game, Carter will perform a collection of songs from the field. And following that, a spectacular fireworks display for all the fans to enjoy. So get your tickets. Come on out and join us, Orioles.com.
Well, they can call it analytics or whatever, but I mean, ideally, if you had Beeks, who's a left-hander, start, you probably would load your. There's a good splitter, but you would load up your lineup with right-handed hitters.
StatCast AI powered by AWS. Well, here's the directions and percentages that Chris Davis hits the ball in the infield. And you see the shift is on against him as always. Davis is just 3 for 20 on the road trip, and he has struck out in 9 of those 20 at-bats. He now has 39 games in which he has struck out 2 or more times. Last night he struck out 3 times, going 0 for 4.
And the one time he put it in play was a little scribbler in front of the plate. Pitcher snared. Well, I mean, I feel sorry for him because I know he doesn't want to be as bad as he's been. I mean, 202 over your last 1,362 at bats. I mean, that's frustrating for everybody involved.
Strike 3 called. He froze him with an off-speed pitch. Davis must have thought it was high. Las Diaz calls him out. 2 away.
I'm sure he did, but again, I just don't. I think when you're really struggling, and one of the reasons, it's the swing. Again, there's a lot of movement in the swing. It's not very short, but you're also not tracking the ball, so it's hard to discern whether it's a strike or not. And we see it all the time, not only with him but other hitters. If you're struggling, you're trying to pick up the release point. But again, you got a lot of movement. Your swing is long. Boy, I got to hurry. And then when you try to hurry, you're not ready. You know, again, especially if they can move the ball in on your fist and then go down and away. So, but it's over. You know, it's approaching 1,400 at bats now. That's a long time. I mean, anytime you're hitting 202 over your last 3 years, you got to make some changes.
He's now struck out 135 times. Renato Nunez, he's been hot. He brings a 7-game hitting streak into tonight's game.
Well, my point of, again, what Kevin Cash is trying to do, number one, he has to have somebody go out there, but he matches up early.
Right.
Because if Buck put a bunch of, left-handed hitters in the lineup to hit Stanek, if you had that kind of team, well, then you bring in the lefty 2 innings, and all of a sudden you play into the hand. So I think it's, it started, as you mentioned, with the Angels when they had, 5 right-handed hitters. Cole Calhoun had the oblique. He wasn't playing. He usually hit second for the, or first, or depending on whatever. So, he started 2 games out there, Sergio wrote back in May.
Friday and Sunday.
Yeah. So, and what you're trying to do is just like what you're trying to do for maybe an inning and a half or inning and 2/3 later in the ballgame, match up.
Drop to third. Deep is Duffy. He plays it. He throws it out at first base. Is Nunez on a nice play in the back end by Bowers. So Duffy got it over there, and Bowers played the bounce, and Ryan Stanek has a 3-up, 3-down inning. Duffy went back as far as he could and gets Nunez for the final out. Fans enjoying the Rays tank out there in deep right center field. I hope they don't feed them. You would think that the handlers would have to monitor their food intake. So Cashner back to work. A couple of stolen bases hurt him in the first inning. The second, Bowers should have been out, but Beckham dropped the ball, and Bowers came around and scored the tying run. It's Kiermaier leading off. He'll take ball 1. Adames and Perez lower third of the Rays lineup here in the second inning. Kiermaier is a scuffling hitter. He is 3 for his last 27. Swings at a ball and fouls it off.
Well, I had the thumb injury early on, that right thumb injury. We were here early in this April or whatever, and then so he missed almost 2 months.
And he's had a tough go the last few years. There's a weak ground ball towards second. Yar plays the hop, and he gets the hustling Kiermaier by a step. 1 down here in the Tampa Bay second inning. Well, on Saturday, we hope you can join us at Oriole Park, a special pregame induction ceremony prior to the second game of the separate admission doubleheader against Boston. Former second baseman Brian Roberts and radio broadcaster Fred Mafra will be inducted into the Orioles Hall of Fame. It all begins at 6:30. For your tickets, visit Orioles.com. That'll be a fun night. Here's the hero from last night, Willie Adames. He was the only batter Miguel Castro faced.
Well, he went 3-1 on him, and boy, did he blast it. Not only did he hit the home run, he hit it about 434. Way up in left field. It was you meant, no doubt about it. Game over.
Went to Nunez with backhands. And across, nicely done there. The form looked good, 2 away.
Well, they've been talking. I mean, of course, he's been working with Bobby Dickerson, third base coach and infield instructor, and they're going to really start working. He worked 2 days in Texas, and I was talking to Bobby today. When they get back to Baltimore, have a nice little home stand, so he'll go out and do it. And I think he understands. He needs to get better, and it looks like he already has. He hadn't played a lot of third base, so Bobby said, hey, as long as you do the work. That's the way it was with Scope and Manny coming up. And he said Manny used to say, hey, why do you always yell at me? He said, because I know you're going to be a good player. You got to be tough. Tough love for the there's prospects and suspects. Manny was a prospect, about a $5 million prospect, but I think that wasn't a signing bonus. And then Scope signed for $50,000, and they both ended up having really good years for the Orioles. But again, it's nice to have coaches that you can trust.
This one's lifted to left. Mancini's back on it. And he's got it. So bounce back inning for Andrew Kashner as he retires the side. 3 up, 3 down in the second. Air dealer at midatlanticcomfort.com. It was a nice day to be out on the bay, and Ryan Stanek, Jim, his night is done.
Yep, he gives up the 2 solo home runs, back-to-back home runs. Beckham and then settles down in the second inning. Doesn't walk anybody, strikes out 4. Jalen Biggs, as you mentioned, he comes over from the Red Sox for Eovaldi, and again, he was having a nice year at AAA Pawtucket. Last year, minor league pitcher of the year, 11-8. Couple of 2 levels, and very much like Ryan Stanek out of the University of Arkansas. So righty, lefty. Not overpowering, but made some. I watched some of the game against the Angels. Really made some great pitches. Fastball, changeup, curveball pitch. He wore out that outside corner.
Caleb Joseph, the number 9 batter, the only batter that did not face Stanek. VR's on deck, and then Beckham. So the opener goes 2 innings and 36 pitches, and now it's Beeks who will likely try to eat up 4 or 5 innings. Runs to third. Duffy plays a tough hop, slings it across, and Bowers holds on. Well, that was a tough play for Bowers.
Yep. Well, a tough play both ways, because the only way that Matt Duffy could catch is on the short hop right there, and that's a long short hop. And then the bouncer settled back to the last 2 outs. High chopper had to retreat on last inning, and then just enough to get your balance. A couple of crow hops, and then hope your first baseman can pick it. Looks like Jake Bowers is pretty good. We saw him turn the double play last night. Routine. So there's your changeup already, and that's what he does. This kid, again, struggled his first time out and then really good against the Angels.
Villar jumping on the first pitch, fouls it back.
Yeah, coming into the season in the Red Sox organization, the number 11 prospect. One of those spikers, you can watch him just drop his left arm straight down. It kind of tells you why everybody's shifted around right there. There's the changeup again.
So Jalen Beeks on in relief. It's only a 10-man bullpen tonight because Stanek came out of the bullpen to make the start. Last night they had 11 out there. Villar 3 multi-hit games in his first 5 games as an Oriole. This one's right at the shortstop. There's Willie Adames. Good arm and 2 down. Orioles fans, when the O's score 5 runs or more, you get 50% off regular menu price online orders at papajohns.com with the promo code Orioles5. Enjoy the quality pizza you have come to expect from your locally owned and operated Papa John's. So 2 ground ball outs. And here's Tim Beckham, who got the Orioles an early lead.
Yeah, you had to read the notes because he's in the bullpen notes because he's really not a starter, even though he's going to pitch more innings, they hope, than their opener, if you follow me on this. But you read it and you go, well, last start against the Angels, didn't allow a hit in the first 4 innings pitched, then allowed a single and double to start the 7th. You go, oh, the guy got all the way to the 7th inning in the second start for the Rays. Then you realize he didn't pitch till the 3rd.
Sure what was going on down there, but Laz Diaz called time because Adam Jones was yelling at somebody and he was pointing over to the other side of the field.
Well, he's probably telling him to challenge somebody because I mean there's another great changeup at 86.
Adam doesn't miss anything.
No.
Laz is like, Adam, what's up? What are you yelling at? Apparently a ball got loose, and Adam was telling Laz that there was a ball on the field that shouldn't have been there. He lays off 1 and 2. Beckham hit his 6th home run to give the O's a 1-0 lead. Jones then followed with a homer. Tampa Bay got 2 back in the bottom of the 1st. There's Tim's home run.
Yeah, and this is the upper 90s, and he just smacks it. Got a great. You made a nice call of that because I mean, it wasn't what, maybe a couple of rows up, that fan standing up. But you had it a home run right off the bat.
Had that.
I was impressed. And the other premise, one of the premise also is by having, whether it's a young pitcher like Jalen Beeks, is most pitchers the 3rd time through the order, you have a better guy in the bullpen when you look at batting average and runs scored. So open with a guy. Maybe 2 innings if you can, then go to a guy for 4 innings, and then that'll be about 2 times through the order, and then all of a sudden you go to the back end of your bullpen. And all I know, it's worked because after 113 games, they're 1 game over 500. So, actually 111 games. So.
Well, that's a real good at bat for Beckham there, Jim. He was down no balls and 2 strikes, and he works a 2-out walk. And that'll get Adam Jones up, who hit a monster home run in the 1st. And what's interesting about Adam and his power this year, he came into tonight's game with just 1 home run in his last 205 at-bats. And he hit that home run on July the 27th, and now he has another one here tonight. And we have seen in his career, as we get a look at this one, sometimes his home runs come in bunches.
Well, I think he would like to end up where, I mean, obviously over 20, and that's going to be a stretch. I just don't I don't think he's lost a lot of bat speed, just turned 33. I think it's the approach is he'll go the other way.
And he's good at it.
Yeah, oh, he is.
He and Mancini, I think, are the two best on the team. He has 299 doubles as an Oriole.
Yeah, I think a lot of times, you know, if a guy loses bat speeds, first of all, he can't hit a breaking ball because he's always cheating. I mean, you know, hey, I can't get, I got to go. And then susceptible to that. That's not the case. One of the better breaking ball hitters on the club. Plays off that changeup.
Well, he is 8th all time in Orioles history with those 299 doubles. Next on the list is his good friend Nick Markakis, who is 7th. Nick had 316 doubles as an Oriole. And of course, Cal has the all-time record, 603 in his Hall of Fame career. Popped him up. First baseman Bowers goes back.
I don't know if he's, yeah, I guess he does see it.
In the foul ground, he makes the catch, so the 2-out walk doesn't hurt. Mid-third at the Trop, a 2-2 game. And he was working on his throws, of course, a different angle from center field to right field. And Adam, of course, he has a strong arm. He works at it, does a lot of long tossing. Look at that throw to the plate, perfect. So Adam Jones and Wayne Kirby getting in some early work. Our Maryland Live Casino Inside the Numbers. Here are the most games played in center field in Orioles history. And Adam Jones is now 99 games behind Paul Blair, who has the all-time record, 1,654. And as you see, they're the only two above 1,000. B was in there.
Yeah, and Adam'll be the first guy to tell you he's surprised that Cedric Mullins isn't already here. You know, maybe it would have been a perfect. I mean, I'm not going to speak for the club. Obviously, they don't want to bring him up now. But here, maybe they're afraid of the turf, even though they have a turf field down in Florida. But I think that's an infield. No pressure, not at home. So, either way.
So right at VR.
Yeah, I think Andrew Casher goes, boy, he had a lot of soft hits in that first inning. Didn't play well behind him defensively. Should be 2-1. Beckham dropped a sure out on a stolen base at second, so I'm going to let him hit it at people. If I can.
Well, he's retired 6 in a row. Here's Matt Duffy. Duffy flied out to Valencia in right field his first at bat. You know, we really have no way of knowing if Cedric Mullins will join the team on Friday, and he's missing his second consecutive game. Apparently, he has some kind of a stomach flu, according to Rock Kabako of MASNsports.com. Of course, last night when we saw he wasn't in the lineup, we were thinking, whoop, is he on a plane? And nope, he's under the weather. But if he does come up Friday night and Adam moves to right field, obviously somebody has to go off this 25-man roster. And that means with Adam in right field, there will no longer be other at-bats for a right fielder because Adam's going to play every day. Sweet ground ball to first. Wide of the bag is Davis. Cashner quickly got over there and 2 quick outs. The Care First Fan Challenge is back. You could tweet your signature dish to us, and you could face Adam Jones in a cooking battle. Live fearless with a name trusted for over 75 years. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield. You and I ought to enter that this year. Come up with some kind of a casserole or something and see.
Casserole?
Sure. Something that, you know, is exotic.
Well, they had shepherd's pie in here yesterday.
Did you have that?
It was a casserole, Jim. No. I think it was like ground beef or something.
Maybe on the day off on Monday at home, I'll make baked ziti, and I'll take a picture of it and send it to him, because he's always asking me to make him baked ziti. So I can do the next best thing. I could send a picture. And then maybe I can be entered in the contest. Now,
why don't you just go to Gourmet Magazine or something like that, Food and Wine, and send them a picture from there.
Save all the work.
Of course, I know.
Save the 5 hours.
I know. You want to eat it.
Well,
yes.
That's a good day off meal. You kidding me? Jump in the pool. And
can't eat that magazine, can you? Yeah, good. There's your little movement right there, Mr. Rookie.
So Bauer's down on strikes. Back-to-back 3-up, 3-down innings. Cashner has settled in. He's retired 8 straight. Drives you. Visit buyatoyota.com for great deals. Oh, that looks like fun. That whole area looks like fun. That fan has her claw hands. Not the number 1 finger. I haven't seen that one before. It's pretty unique.
Oh, yeah.
That's scary. Here's Mark Trumbo in this tie game. Up and in from Jalen Beeks.
Well, if you're young, and he is young, I mean, opening day, turned 25, back in August, or in July, that's a pretty good way to pitch. This will be a changeup down the left. Fastball.
Trumbo to right field. That ball has some carry to it. And that ball is gone the opposite way for Trumbo. And the O's get the lead back.
Well, welcome to the big leagues. You know, you try to crowd him. I figure he's going to throw him a changeup away, but he doesn't. Throws him another fastball, gets in the middle of the plate. That's a different speed. Not too many guys in the minor leagues can hit this pitch to the opposite field. So already in August, that's his 4th home run. 9 for 21. Red hot.
And he extends his hitting streak to 10 consecutive games, and he's got 4 home runs and 13 RBIs during the hitting streak. So 3 solo home runs, and the O's have the lead back. Here's Valencia. That is a foul ball.
We'll take a look, and again, the first one, I mean, the target's in the middle of the plate, and there's no better high ball hitter. Keep saying it because this is what he does. If you're Michael Perez, you better get that glove on the corner. Because I don't know if Beek's going to be able to be very successful 91 in the middle of the plate.
There's a chopper to short. Adames, who he plays a tough hop off the lip of the turf, and he gets his man. And one away. Our PNC MASSonSports.com blog recap is brought to you by PNC. There's no better time to act than today. PNC, make today the day. Rock looks thrilled there. In his blog, notes on Givens, Jones, Cobb, and opposing starters. Steve Molesky back in Baltimore. Was last night a classic rebuilding team kind of a loss? Yeah, Rock's got on his Masson shirt. He's looking good. Pre-game show with Tom and Rick tonight. There's another bouncer foul. Man of many talents. Trey lined out hard to center field his first at bat. Kiermaier, who has played every right-handed batter in the series well over towards the right center gap, got over there with his tremendous speed. See where he is. He's well over towards the gap. If Mancini hits a ball down the left field line, it's going to roll forever. Instead, he chops it to short. There's Adames. Plays the hop, slings it across in time for the second out. And Mancini 0 for 2. Cashner after the first inning, and of course the Beckham play should have been an out at second on the stolen base, but Beckham dropped the ball, so Bowers was safe. Since the RBI single by Wendell that tied the game, he's retired 8 in a row, and now the Orioles have the lead back. Ball 1 to Chris Davis. Chris called out on strikes his first at bat.
Well, this may be a good matchup because he's not overpowered. Does have the slider we just saw there. So maybe he'll get a ball in the middle of the plate that won't be above 92, 93 miles per hour, and he can drive them.
For Davis, only his second at bat against Beeks, who, as Jim told you, was in AAA with Pawtucket before the trade.
And pitching well.
Yeah. See, in the trades you make at this time of the year, especially with contenders, you're not going to get anybody off their major league club because they need those players to contend. So you're hoping that there are players that are close to being ready. And in Jalen Beek's case, he was, and he's here. Inside nearly hit him.
Well, what you like, Eovaldi was he was going to be a free agent anyway, paying him over $2 million. Now he's going to help the Red Sox, already has, but you get a young pitcher, controllable for what, 6 years? Or is
hard hit ball into the shift. There's Wendell, the second baseman. He'll get Davis, and that'll do it. But the O's get the lead back as Mark Trumbo gets in the one. He goes opposite field for his 16th of the year. And the O's back in front 3-2.
And start your day, so get up, get going, and put today in the win column.
Well, the Orioles host the Red Sox this weekend at Oriole Park, and on Sunday, all fans 14 and under receive an Orioles retro talking alarm clock presented by United Concordia Dental and featuring, as you just heard, a Joe Angel wake-up call. For tickets, get online at Orioles.com. Jim Palmer already has his request in for his alarm clock. There's Joey Wendell. He'll take a strike. Cashner has retired 8 in a row since Wendell's RBI single that tied the game in the first. Those now have the lead back on Trumbo's home run.
Well, it looks like he's got a better rhythm, at least for the moment. And I mean, there's a changeup and two-seamer, which is something he used so well against the Orioles last year, 11 and 11 with the Texas Ranger, and pitched against the Orioles a couple of times. Two-seamer struck out last out. There's another changeup, gets him to roll over.
Yar waits on it, and against Tampa Bay, you got to be quick because they hustle. Our PNC Minor League Insights brought to you by PNC. There's no better time to act than today. PNC, make today the day. Well, how about Alex Wells, last year's Jim Palmer Award winner for the best minor league pitcher when he was at Delmarva? He's handling his own.
Well, he is. And
Frederick.
Yeah, I mean, you can see last 4 starts, he can get away with a hit per inning because of the walks. Last year, I mean,
10.
10 on the year. I mean, he went some astounding number of innings.
140 innings, he walked 10. That's pretty good, huh?
Well,
let's see.
Obviously, he didn't pitch around a lot of guys, did he?
That's 0.6 walks per 9 innings for Wells last year. This one skied the left off the bat of G-Man Choi.
You can see Trey Mancini. Well, thought I saw it, and then had to hustle in to get it.
But when you look at a prospect, and of course we haven't seen Alex Wells in person. He wasn't in Major League Spring Training, and my knowledge wasn't called over all that often in the spring. But can you get a gauge when you simply look at the numbers? Like, are the walks what you would look at?
Well, you try to project. Well, obviously, I don't think you can look at the walks because he doesn't walk anybody. I think who's he facing? How's he getting them out? You try to project. Can he do it at Double-A? You're going to probably get a chance. And then if he does it at Double-A, can he do it at Norfolk, Triple-A? If he does it at Triple-A, probably gets the big thing. But you don't have an overpowering arm, and there are a number of pitchers that are very successful. There's no wow factor. I mean, people, they can't pitch. Josh Rogers, who I think is pitching tonight, you've told me.
5 scoreless so far.
5 scoreless, but no wow factor. But he gets people out. I talked to Cody Carroll, and he said, bad outings, 7 innings and 4 runs. Well,
I'll take that.
Yeah, I know that. That's a bad outing. So I think, again, if you're not overpowering, you're going to have to prove it. Let's hope that Alex Wells stays healthy.
And he's only 21.
And then you pitch to contact and you see if it works.
And there's a 4-pitch walk after 2 men down. So Cashner had retired 10 in a row, and he walks Carlos Gomez. First walk allowed by Cashner. Here's Kiermaier. Rounded out to Jonathan Villar's first at bat. He's now just 3 for his last 28.
Like you mentioned last night, can't seem to stay healthy. 180 at bats last year because of a hip problem. This year, the thumb problem. Most home runs ever, 15. Also the most strikeouts last year. If he gets on, he can steal bases, 16 of them last year.
Down and away 1-1. Well, in 2016, he suffered a fractured left hand, missed 2 months. Last season, as Jim just mentioned, it was the fractured right hip. That cost him 2.5 months. And this year, it was a torn ligament in his right thumb that he hurt sliding into the base at second base. And he was on the 60-day DL.
So you're struggling. I mean, these are the counts. You look for a fastball, whether it's outside half, inside half, you hope you get it. And of course, for Andrew Cashner, he's been around long enough. He becomes a power hitter if you don't get it on the corner, and he throws him a changeup. So that's great pitching. But just the mere fact that he swings at it tells you he's struggling. Talking about Kiermaier. I mean, it's a perfect pitch. But you don't want to swing at that pitch because that's the pitcher's pitch. And count allows you to take it. Of course, he didn't, and that's why he's, what, 3 for 28? And then because you throw him a changeup 2-1, he's late behind the fastball because you have no idea what's coming. Until you get to 2 strikes, you can look at any pitch you want. You know, it can be in and out, hard, soft, up, down. Now everything changes. Got to cover every square inch of the strike zone. Soft, hard, up, in, down, away.
It's a lot of quadrants.
It is, and that's why. What's the league average every year? Usually about 175. This year it's actually even lower. A couple of weeks ago it was 171. Tells you it's tough to hit with 2 strikes.
So it goes 3-2. This will give Gomez a head start. You see Chris Davis now plays behind him with the left-handed batter up. Gomez still runs pretty well. And the 3-2 is a called strike 3. Froze Kiermaier, and he's down on strikes. So Cashner really pitching a gem since that first inning. He gets Kiermaier in a called strike 3 to end the Tampa Bay 4th. The O's have drawn 308 walks for a total of $15,400. Care First encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and a more active lifestyle. Oh, it's time for cotton candy, Jim.
Sugar.
They don't care. They're young. They're enjoying that. Want some, Grandpa? Want some? No, I'm too old for cotton candy. Oh, she's crying, so he eats. That's great. Way to go, Gramps. Isn't it interesting how little girls get their fathers and grandfathers to... She has him wrapped around her finger.
Well, actually, she has him wrapped around her cotton candy.
And that.
You see a couple of cutters. And they're going to go up the ladder. I think the book on Renato Nunez, and he loves to hit the fastball. Try to get him out any other way you can. He's really done a nice job with the bat. What, 11 for 24 in August?
Pops up the breaking ball. Powers. He's got it as it finally comes down. And one away. Well, listen up, Birdland. Dunkin' Donuts has the perfect way to celebrate O's game day. Dunkin' Donuts Perks members receive medium hot or iced coffee for 99 cents. Oriole home game days June through August. Your local Dunkin' Donuts is only a short stop away. So one down, and here's Caleb. Caleb bounced out to third on a nice play by Matt Duffy, his first at bat. Perfect pitch down and in.
Yeah, that dreaded changeup again. That's the one. Galeric struck him out on, then he snapped his bat over his knee. He just lost it.
Sky to center field. That's playable for Kiermaier. Towards right center.
You can see that Jalen Beeks has a nice little feel for pitching. Which is why they kind of like him. You're going to lose Eovaldi anyway, and so you get him. He's young, been able to stay healthy. College pitcher, who, as we mentioned, worked his way through the minor leagues, and very successful. Won over 35 games at the minor league level. Probably, what, about 450, 60 innings pitched.
He is from Prairie Grove, Arkansas. Not VR, Beeks. And a foul back where the Orioles have certainly been coming on. In August, they're averaging 5.17 runs per game. Of course, nobody in the league with Texas. And that's pretty good when you consider for the season, Jim, they've averaged 3.9.
Well, what, the Rangers scored 11 runs again yesterday. Congratulations to Bartolo Colon. Won his 246 game, moved one ahead of Dennis Martinez. So barring a comeback by Dennis, he is now the winningest Latin American pitcher.
Texas beat Seattle again today. They had a day game and scored 11 more runs.
It was one of those Facebook games.
Yes. Which I would not be able to watch.
Because you don't have Facebook.
VR is 0 for 2. Showalter has put him in the leadoff spot. Gives the Orioles a switch hitter at the top who can run.
And a guy that's led off before, which you need.
Beckham waits on deck. And he chased the pitch. So he's down on strikes. And a 3-up, 3-down inning. Second time the O's have gone in order on the night. Mid-fifth, 3-2 O's. Gesture by Tampa Bay as they recognized Alex Cobb for his contributions as a Ray. He pitched here for 6 seasons. Of course, he was drafted by Tampa Bay. They developed him. And he had a real good career here. He was 48-35 as a Tampa Bay Ray. And you see his exploits there, so they recognized Alex. Of course, last night he pitched, so they waited until tonight, and Alex recognizing his former teammates in the other dugout as well as the crowd. And one thing I came to notice there, Jim, as we watched the montage of video, I had forgotten that Alex Cobb as a Ray wore number 53. And when he came to Baltimore, that number was not available because that was Zach Britton's number. But number 53 is now available. So I wonder if going ahead to next year, if he'll try to get his old number back.
Well, it worked here. This year, kind of just pitching very well as of late. I was thinking today when I'm doing my notes, going, now all of a sudden, he has some value.
Yeah. 5 consecutive starts where he's pitched very well. And he told us last night following the game that, yep, the splitter is a big influence, and he's really beginning to get the feel of it again. That ball's not that deep. Adam Jones will glide over to it, and he gets there for the out. Adames is retired, and 1 away. Game of Thrones returns to Oriole Park on Tuesday, August 14th. You can choose between 2 special ticket packages with both options including a Game of Thrones bobblehead. Learn more about each special ticket package and purchase that ticket package today at Orioles.com/Game of Thrones. So 12 of 13 he's retired. Perez, the catcher.
Yeah, the irony about last night off of Paul Fry, who came in and got him out of the 8th inning, is he almost hit a walk-off home run off of him. We thought that ball was fair down the right field line, and then Fry would leave. Miguel Castro would go 3-1 on Adames, and he would get his pitch, blasted it.
There's Paul Fry in the middle there,
who pitched very well.
I like his approach to him. He just goes right at hitters. He's got that good slider. He throws his fastball for enough strikes.
Well, I asked him because he's been around long enough. I said, have you ever tried with a changeup? He said, oh, I have one. I just don't feel like it's as good as my other 2 pitches. And pitching out of the bullpen, clutch situation, just haven't. Hasn't used it as of yet.
Well, that's an experiment then for spring training next year. Just don't have him talk to Scott Erickson. Scott Erickson was a fastball sinker pitcher, sinker pitcher, slider pitcher, and Ray Miller wanted him to add the changeup to give him third pitch, and he was reluctant. So there was a spring training game, I'll never forget this, at Vero Beach against the Dodgers, and Chris Hoyles was told by Ray, every other pitch you call changeup. And I think Erickson gave up about 14 runs. There was the end of that experiment. But he was reluctant to use it. I think in your description, Fry would like to use it. This ball's hit to left. That's playable for Mancini. And he's got it for the out. And 2 men down. Here's a look at the LifeBridge Health upcoming schedule. The LifeBridge Health Sports Medicine Institute turned to Cal's team for concussion and orthopedic care together. To schedule an appointment, call 410-601-PLAY. Well, it's a night game tomorrow, and then the O's head home. Night game on Friday, then a day-night doubleheader, separate admission doubleheader on Saturday, and then a day game on Sunday against the Red Sox. So 4 games in 3 days against Boston beginning Friday night. Alex Smith fouls it back.
Well, there's his home run swing on the changeup. Yeah, the other thing about, spring training, if you're a fringe player, even though you've come up and established yourself pretty well in a young bullpen, you don't want to try too many things, not pitch well, and then who knows who's going to manage it. It's one of the big unknowns.
Well, that's a good point, because Fry would have to go in the spring training hoping to make the team.
Right, and then I think they would encourage him at the appropriate time to try to see if he can come up with a third pitch.
Line right at Nunez, who gloves it for the out. Oh, that was a blistering line drive, and Nunez no problem with it as he stabs it for the out. And another 3-up, 3-down inning for Andrew Cashner. So Nunez puts it away, 3-2 game. And now it's time for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Well, Jim, the Orioles had some fun in the first, back-to-back home runs.
Well, they can hit the fastball, and Stanek, had a cutter and a splitter. But I tell you what, first two hitters, back-to-back home runs. Beckham, who's been real hot, and Jonesy, not with a long ball, but certainly getting his hits. And his was really tattooed. And of course, the go-ahead run, Mr. T. Mark Trumbo, right center field. So all runs by the home run tonight by the Orioles. Gee, imagine that.
Well, they've won only 4 games all year in games they haven't home. So the home run, no doubt about it, is a big part of their scoring runs. There's where Beckham hits the ball on the ground. And you can see that's why they have Wendell shading a little bit up the middle, but on the second base side.
And then Bowers at first, way off the line. Yeah, I'm sure they do the analytics and the sprayed chart and all that, but any ball down the right field line, it usually would be an out or a single, it would be a double. I'd love to add more runs. Beek's very impressive. Commanding the ball on the one mistake out over the plate, Mark Trumbo. It looks to me he's got like 4 different ways to get you out. And there's one of them.
High fastball.
Yeah, just up the ladder. And he kind of stabs with it. That pitching arm kind of drops it behind him. But when I was watching him warm up, you don't see it if you're a hitter. Watch it. I mean, he's hit by his body. Or again, you always have to make sure that you get your arm and your extension. Some guys hook the ball a little bit. A lot of scouts don't like that.
Here's Adam, who homered in the first, popped up to first base in the third. Breaking ball fouled off. Home run, his first RBI on this road trip. It's not right. It bounced over the Oriole fans to a Tampa Bay fan.
Well, it's been that kind of year defensively for the O's.
Adames waits on the hop. Jones retired and 2 men down. Well, fans, mark it down. The Mets will be at Oriole Park next week, August 14th and 15th. And on Wednesday, August 15th, all fans receive an Orioles Maryland State t-shirt. For your tickets, just visit Orioles.com. It'll be fun to have the Mets in town. Those fans here at the Trop.
I got a little nervous today. A headline in the Tampa Times. Callaway caught with marijuana. Callaway? It's one of the wide receivers in the NFL. So you'll see Mickey when he come to Baltimore, manager of the Mets.
Trumbo to Adames, and a nice stretch there by Jake Bowers on the back end. So the Orioles go 3 up, 3 down in the 6th. Jason Stark in the Athletic. He's on a path to lead the American League in wins above replacement for the 5th time. But since it's August, this is still considered his age 26 season. So how many position players in history have led their league in WAR 5 times by this age? Well, none. Of course, according to Jason. Just 4 position players have ever led their league in WAR 3 times by age 26. Mickey Mantle did it 4 times, Willie Mays, Rogers Hornsby, and Stan Musial 3 times each. And what does that group have in common? All 4 are in Cooperstown. And Jim Palmer made a good point during our production meeting when we talked about that. Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, Rogers Hornsby, and Stan Musial never heard of WAR. They just went out and played.
Well, it's like they used to tell Willie Mays, you know, when they had the 30, 40, 40 guys. Not a whole lot of those.
Right.
Goes, somebody told me. And he's Willie, marvelous player with 660 home runs and one of the great center fielders of all time. Not just home runs, stealing bases and whatever. So 3rd time through the order. The number goes up dramatically. About 94 points off of Cashner. If that's the case tonight. Good fastball. One thing is he can throw his fastball in the mid-90s. Doesn't do it often. Usually pitches around 91, 92. And again, Duffy, anytime he's 0 for 2, because he's a bat control guy, trying to put the ball in play. And that's why he could take that pitch. Didn't chase. We did see him. David Hess's first major league start, hit that 3-run home run off him. Of course, David would settle down and pitch 5 shutout innings. So occasional pop.
Nunez placed the hop. And a throw that sailed, but Davis somehow kept his foot on the base and gloved it. Nicely done there by Chris Davis. 1 away. Well, this copyrighted telecast is presented by Authority of the Orioles. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Adam Jones in center field. Tim Beckham at shortstop. They homered in the 1st. Mark Trumbo's home run broke the 2-all tie in the 4th. Here's Jake Bauers. Here's Mark on the bench. One of the few DHs who does not mind being a DH. I said if that's what helps the team, I have no problem with it.
I mean, he can play first, and he can play, you know, he can play right. If actually 1 year they put him at 3rd when he played for the Angels. Actually hurt the quad this year because of the Chris Davis elbow injury. Had to play more in first base in the outfield. So that certainly set him back. Probably would be in the 20 home run range or more if he hadn't been hurt.
It's interesting that a contending team, and we have no knowledge, maybe they have checked in, but there's really been no rumors whatsoever about Mark Trumbo. He's the kind of veteran presence that can really help a team in the pennant race. And he is versatile, as Jim just pointed out. So right at VR was playing back. And Bowers retired 2 away. Cashner really pitching a fine game.
Well, when he gets behind, I mean, there's 3-1, made a good pitch.
And there you go, Bundy talking hitting with Trumbo.
Well, don't think you're not going to learn something when you talk to hitters. And even when Mark played for other teams, especially with the Angels, I always found him very reflective, very insightful.
And a strike.
Yeah, a little late call by Elias Diaz, but perfect backdoor breaking ball.
That's a styling call. He has retired 16 of the last 17 batters. And as a result, that pitch count is very, very efficient. This one off the end of the bat, Adam Jones right where he had him played. And he's got it for the outs. Another 3 up, 3 down inning. Cashner's retired now 7 consecutive batters. Our Ram Do-Ups brought to you by Ram Trucks. Experience the power and toughness of Ram at your local dealer. Or log on to ramtrucks.com to get to work. Guts, Glory, Ram. Valencia, Mancini, and Davis when we come back. Annapolis. Create your moment at visitannapolis.org. And by the University of Maryland Medical Center, be a part of something. Some nighttime boating. There's Valencia to lead off. Danny 0 for 2 tonight. He was 0 for 8 in Texas, so he's now just 2 for 15 on the trip.
Well, not playing quite as much. Was playing every day. And they moved him from the outfield into right field. This is where he makes his hay. Loves to hit off lefties. Not sure about this lefty. Didn't think he was going to get a fastball. Did. So one of the acquisitions, what? Josh Rogers pitching well for Norfolk tonight.
7 shutout innings against Scranton, which is the team he pitched for prior to the trade. So he's facing his former teammates, and he has them shut out over 7 innings.
Yeah, I'm looking at a headline is left-handed pitcher Josh Rogers, the next prospect to appear in the Bronx. Of course, that's before he was traded for Zach Britton. There's a changeup. It bounces and boy, yeah, right in the hand. Diaz.
He's a former Marine. He's tough.
Still hurts.
Once he goes after the high heater and misses.
Yeah, that tell you that Jalen Beeks is a little bit sneaky in that sense. And the report says what? Josh Rogers, not Severino, 97 to 100. Tops out at 91. And there's a base on balls. Curveball, changeup, and then he developed a wipeout slider. He's wiping out the slider at AAA tonight.
It's his 3rd start for AAA Norfolk since being acquired in the Zach Britton trade.
And all you can do when you get traded from one organization to the other is prove that you can pitch. I mean, they're ultimately going to have to make the decision whether you're going to pitch at the big league level, but do you ever have enough pitching?
No. Mancini takes a strike.
Boy, there is nobody playing on the right side of the infield. So fly balls, and they play him way around in the outfield. You can see the difference between what they assume a ground ball, and then there's a curveball that bounces. Perez does a nice job keeping it close enough in front of him so you don't advance.
Nice play there by Perez. It's interesting that they would leave that right side open when Mancini's very willing to go the opposite way. You see in the outfield they're playing him to hit that way, but not in the infield. Again, all their charts and their analytics suggest that this is how you defend against Trey Mancini. Instead, he rips it in the left field on a hanging curve.
He goes, defend that.
That ball was smoked.
Well, you could see why they were shifted around, because apparently they're going to throw him curveballs, cutters, or whatever in, and then you're right about hanging it. Great angle right here. You can tell. I mean, it's thigh high, so it's just very hittable. That's the kind of curveball that you want to start off the plate and try to hit the outside edge. That's why I always thought curveballs are really good. It's just, if you look at cutters, fastballs, changeups, it's harder to throw that low and away for where you want it than any other pitch in anybody's repertoire. It doesn't mean it doesn't get hitters out. But as far as command, good curveball, but in the wrong spot.
Chris Davis is 0 for 2. Fastball upstairs.
We saw him hit it hard last time. You know, again, Beeks is not an overpowering guy, so he's not going to throw it by Chris. But the hard throwers has trouble catching up with.
And there's a strike. Well, we showed you how the Orioles have been scoring more runs in August, and here are the runners in scoring position averages since the All-Star break, and nobody better in the American League than the Orioles. And this is an area, Jim, they have struggled all year. In fact, for the season, they're batting just .229 with runners in scoring position. So since the All-Star break, that has come on.
At one time they were .209. Last year, even though they hit .220 in the month of September, only 3 runs a game after going, 6 runs a game, winning 17 of their games in August, they still hit .287, which was the second highest, only what the Astros better. This year it's been a struggle from the get-go. Even though Chris Davis is better, he's at .206 with runners in scoring position.
Close pitch. You saw Davis peek back at Laz Diaz, hoping.
Well, yeah, he was going to almost do the moonwalk like Leslie Nielsen in the Naked Gun, and you could see Perez trying to bring it down to the zone, maybe a little bit up and away.
He's looking for some add-on runs here, and he got him. So Davis down on strikes for a second time and 1 away. 40th multi-strikeout game of the year for Chris Davis. So Davis 0 for 3 and 1 away here in the 7th. Beeks has allowed just the 1 run. He's allowed 2 hits, a single by Mancini and the Trumbo home run, and he has walked 2.
Yeah, Kevin Cash, looking at the pitch count, of course he was starting and it's only pitch number 64.
Nunez does not like the call of Laz Diaz. Skipper with his bench coach, John Russell. Right field, that'll chase back Gomez, and he's there for the out. Tagging at second base is Valencia. He'll hit the third, but now 2 men down. The ball was well struck, but really Gomez went back to get it.
Yeah, it was tattooed. Low and away changeup. Again, if that's down the line, it's certainly an easy double. Gomez gets back very quickly. And with ease makes this play. Nice tag up by Valencia in case you bounce a ball. Puts more pressure on the breaking ball, the changeup. I mean, good catchers will tell you, hey, I'll block it, and most of the time they do, but boy, what do you want to do with your breaking ball? You want to finish it. And what does that mean? It's going to be down around, the ankles or maybe the shoe tops. Always a chance of bouncing.
Here's Caleb. And, you know, Jim, we've been talking quite a bit this season about situational hitting because the Orioles have really struggled with situational hitting. In this inning, a perfect example. It was first and second and nobody out, and Chris Davis could not advance the runners because he struck out.
And the irony is they actually played the third baseman in like he may bunt. How often do you see that?
Now, you don't know if Nunez is going to get that same pitch that he just flied out, but had Davis at least advanced the runners, there's another run.
Yeah, this kid, I mean, really good cut fastball right there. Right in on the fist of Caleb Joseph. And what it does, we'll see if he, I was very surprised because he did this he tried to get in on Mark Trumbo, and then he went out over the plate with his fastball, and he elevated, and so did Trumbo with a leading home run, right center field. So you would think the sequence right here would be, once again, targets up, must be a fastball.
Caleb to right, that's playable for Gomez. And Beeks will get out of it. So first and second and nobody down. The Orioles failed to score as they strand 2 here in the 7th inning. Joseph skies out, 7th inning stretch, 3-2 O's. Popular attraction here at the Trop. And good to see Orioles fans. With the day off on Monday, a lot of the players have their families in town.
Yeah, Choi, of course, leading it off here. A little bit of power, can hit it a long way. Mentioned the Angels, the Yankees, the Brewers.
VR knocks it down. Will he have time? He fires and got him by a step. Nicely done by VR. That ball was blistered at him.
Well, it wasn't a pure shift, but he's playing deep because of the lack of speed. Otherwise, that ball gets by him. Able to get enough glove on it to slow it down, and then the hustle play right here. There you go. And again, it's rolling away, and Choi play in front of him. He thinks maybe I got a base hit. I mean, he hits it hard. Just enough of the glove on it not to roll very far. So there's a BB for an out. Yeah, there you go.
So VR gets his man.
And that's only the 85th pitch.
And that hits Gomez, and that's not a shocker.
No.
That is the 18th time he has been hit by a pitch this year.
Well, because he's got all the equipment on, and he's going to dive. And that ball in, though, probably about 8 inches off the plate. And off the forearm.
So that allows Tampa Bay to get the go-ahead run to the plate.
And what it does, it opens up a hole too. Anytime you have a man on first, left-handed hitter coming to the plate. Kiermaier really struggling. Struck out the last time on changeups. Thought he had a hitter's count. Didn't happen.
What is your theory on that when you go into a series and you see a hitter like Kiermaier, and again the injury certainly hurt him this year, but came in batting 186. He's now 3 for his last 29. Did you like to face hitters like that, or were you a law of averages guy thinking, uh-oh, he's about to break out? Nunez slow to second, out there, oh, safe at second base.
Well, Nunez did everything right, but nobody was covering. And again, when you have to catch the ball and try to find the base, you can see him waiting. Now, again, right here, I mean, you just got to touch the base. That's 2. 1 just drop throw, and this is an error of omission right here. But you can see him trying to receive the ball and also find the base. He steps right over it. Catch it, tag it, but he doesn't. I mean, boy, he really could have gotten hurt. Had his foot right in front of where Gomez was sliding. Boy, another extra out.
Yeah, extra out, extra base runner.
Well, instead of getting the lead runner, I mean, he's on. That's your tying run. Go ahead runs at first. Bullpen inexperience. Pitch count gets up. Everything. If you're on the mound and you're playing with a good defense and that happens, you figure, boy, I got myself possible double play, even though Kiermaier runs so well, but at least the lead runner. And that's got to change as we progress.
And as usual, Andrew Cashner, 3 runs. His run support 3.08 is the second lowest in Major League Baseball and the lowest in the American League. And he's trying to protect the 1-run lead. Here's Adames. Slice foul.
Well, the amazing thing about it, 3 runs or less, 19 of 21 games, and here we are in the 22nd game and 3 runs or less. So that's 20 out of 22. Cobb, 3 runs or less, 17 out of 21 starts. And then you wonder why they're not winning. And then there's not good defense behind them. Very misleading 1-loss records. Not that they couldn't have pitched better. I'm not saying that. Nice play by Caleb right there. Smothers it.
Well, they have given Beckham an error for missing the base. Fielder's choice to Kiermaier. Close play, but he got back in. They also, by the way, looked at that stolen base in the first inning on Bowers, and they have since added an error on Beckham for missing the throw. Jim talked about that immediately.
Well, it was an obvious error, and it doesn't change the circumstance, but it's an out that they didn't turn, and well, we saw what happened last night. 3-1 lead, potential double play. Don't get any outs. You can get one of them. Turned it into a tie game, walk-off home run by the Rays, to their credit. 7th time they've done it here at the Trop.
Runners go, swinging a bouncer to short, and Beckham slips. The throw not in time. Everybody's safe. That'll be an infield hit. So the runner who should be out is at third, and now the bases are loaded.
Well, an inning of horrors. Hit by a pitch, don't find the bag. Again, can't get your balance. Adames runs well. Routine outs or base hits or runners on base. And Roger McDowell out for Yeah, the one thing about Andrew Kashner, we were taught when I went A-ball out in Thomasville, Georgia, my first year. Somebody was yelling at somebody because he wanted to make the club, and every day at lunch, if you didn't run a ball out, you know, where's so-and-so? Happened to me once. I lined out for the third out. Where's Palmer? We run balls out here. We never wear our emotions on our sleeves. One thing about Andrew Kashner, you can look at him and, hey, do you think the bases are loaded here in a 3-2 game? No, now it doesn't change things. He hadn't really struck anybody out tonight to any degree. Took a couple of strikeouts.
Mike Wright getting loose.
But you never see him panic. It just makes it harder to win when you don't get a lot of runs, and then you don't get the defensive support that most pitchers get.
Here's Michael Perez, the catcher. Ball one. Well, here's Kashner, the batting average or batter's face with runners in scoring position this season. And you see in August a lot of runners.
Well, it's only 2 games, right?
Yeah,
actually
that's
one
true.
game. That's that 10-run game. So
this ball's off the end of the bat. Beckham is back on it, and he's got it. Gomez is tagging. Here's the throw home, and it's way off the line, and we are tied.
Well, they'd seen Tim Beckham play. And, you know, they made him available because he's not a great defensive player, and that's a difficult play. But again, if you take a look, so right there, 1, 2, 3, off your back foot. And of course, you got to know who's running. And by the time you take your time and you don't make a good throw, he's going to score. I think he would have scored anyway. But Gomez hustling. There's your 3rd run.
Well, Gomez should have been out. He was the runner sliding into second base when Beckham missed the base. So 2 Beckham errors in this game have led the runs coming in on runners that should have been out, and now we're tied again. And that should have been the 3rd out of the inning. And here's Malik Smith. And Andrew Kashner certainly deserved a better fate, and it is tough to win games when you commit 3 errors in one game.
And because of the nature of the game, that is now what pitch number 95. This will be 96, and he just wants to get out of trouble here. And you know, hope the team maybe, and you can see 94 because he can add and subtract. Always been able to do that this year. We need a little bit of help defensively and offensively. We haven't gotten that all year. But because of, again, the nature of the game, probably won't pitch another inning. So this was his chance with a little bit of defensive help to leave with a lead. It's not going to happen.
Those 2 fastballs by Malik Smith.
Yeah, most pitch that Andrews thrown, you got to go all the way back to what May 4th against Oakland. Of course, that was in a game he didn't pitch very well. Tonight he's pitched very well. He easily could be very much like last night's game, 3-1 lead, except it's tied at 3-3. And now you're facing their hottest hitter.
Who has batted .369 in his home games this year. He loves hitting here. He doesn't believe it's a pitcher's park.
Well, he puts a lot of balls on the ground. Line drive variety. You know a guy's hot right there. That's a perfect changeup. Most guys will roll over, which he did, but he keeps it in play and by making contact.
Towards the middle. There's Beckham. Slings it high and out at first base. Davis to the plate and safe at the plate.
Well, it's the 3rd out of the game. Inning.
3rd out of the inning at first. The call was out at first. That should be the 3rd out.
But you can see Chris Davis. It's a heads-up plate just in case you don't get it. And I think they're going to look at it.
And they are.
Yeah. And Kevin Gash can come out, have a little conversation, and I mean, obviously you want to make a challenge if you thought it was close, but just in case. So take a look. Again, a lot of difficult plays. And right there, boy, nice slide right there by Kiermaier, gets around it. So that's what they're looking at.
Hard to tell on that angle.
Yeah. Of course, take a look right here. Is it in the glove? I don't know if there's enough to change.
It doesn't appear there is.
In the old days, they used to say, what tie goes to the runner. There is no such a rule. You never ever know, boy. But a heads-up play by Chris just took that one little extra step, and then Kiermaier with a brilliant slide, certainly anticipating it. So
yeah, I think he's
you're
out.
Yep, glove foot not down. I don't think there's anything enough to change.
Orioles saw it up on the monitor. They're walking off the field.
Yeah, two angles maybe you weren't definitive, but this one, so ball in the glove. Remember the first year, was it in the back of the glove, was it in the front of the glove? I don't think there's enough to change. Look out.
We're about to get our verdict, and he's out, so the inning will end. And that run of Kiermaier's that came in does not score, but Tampa Bay takes advantage of an error to get this game tied. The O's head home. Our coverage tomorrow night on MASN begins at 6:30 with O's Extra presented by Ford. And then game coverage at 7 o'clock. We've got all the access you need right here on MASN. Nart, the crew chief, talking with Buck Showalter. It's interesting they went over to Buck and talked to him before they got on the headphones to find out from New York if that call stood.
Yeah, so hard throwing Diego Castillo comes in. Again, very, very young. You can see a lot of strikeouts. One of their, again, transitional guys in their bullpen. They all have fastballs in the upper, and I mean upper 90s, closer to 100. And they pretty much got what they want out of Jalen Beeks. Other than the Trumbo home run, he pitches very well. So this is what you do. You have your opener, Stanek. He gives up a couple of solo home runs, and then you go to Beeks, who's kind of a starter and probably will be. Certainly looks like he has the pitch arsenal, and then you go to the back end of your bullpen. Try to match up and with that hard slider, and he does have good stuff. It's a cut fastball. He throws a lot of them. I mean, it's 88 to 190 miles per hour, and then the fastball averages. Tanner Scott getting loose for the Orioles.
Cashner's at exactly 100 pitches for the 9th through 7 innings. Alex Cobb and Andrew Kashner talking it over. Caught by Bowers. He takes a base hit away from VR.
Yeah, well, it's a double, too. You know, I saw him. I didn't do the games when he was playing in Baltimore, but this guy's a real good defender. There he goes. You know, short hops, you name it. I mean, this again, I mean, that's right into the corner. There's your cutter in the middle of the plate, so it speeds the bat up. And VR, I mean, really has a nice at bat all over that hanging cutter and gets unlucky. But there's your difference, boy. You make the plays, you get outs.
And here's Tim Beckham. He homered in the first. That got the Orioles on the board in the top of the first. And he has struggled mightily defensively. 2 errors in this game, and he now has 10 errors in the 17 games since the All-Star break.
Well, you got to find out. I mean, you got to find out whether he's going to play, you know, well enough defensively. You know, you made a good point about his bats heating up, you know, offensively. You know, he can swing it.
A long run for Gomez. And there in the bullpen, he makes the catch. And 2 down here in the Oriole 8th inning. The Orioles are proud to join Johns Hopkins, the University of Maryland, and other corporate leaders to support Baltimore City's YouthWorks program, which seeks to provide as many as 12,000 Baltimore City youth with summer employment. Now, to donate, visit BaltimoreCityFoundation.org and choose Mayor's Office of Employment Development YouthWorks. And to learn more, visit youthworks.oedworks.com. Here's Adam Jones with 2 outs and nobody on.
You know, and the Rays, they let Beckham go. They got Tobias Myers, who's won 10 games in A-ball, lost 5. You know, low whip. So they figured, you know what, getting up. When you get a player 3, 4, 5 years, you know what the salary is going to be. It's going to be somewhere $3, $4, $5, $6 million. So got to make that decision, and the Orioles will make the same decision. Whoever the power to be. You know, doesn't mean he's not trying. It's whatever. Some guys can play better defensively than others. And what are your criteria as you move forward? So we'll find that out over the next 6 weeks.
Well, in this game tonight, the 2 errors that he made are plays that you simply have to make. I mean, he dropped the throw and he missed the base.
Well, that's been that way since he's come back, and you know, whether it's third or short. And you know, once again, I got spoiled. You know, and I also played on a team for 20 years, close to, had the best winning percentage in baseball, and the consistency of your defense just makes you better if you're pitching. And Buck knows that. Buck Showalter certainly knows that. So they'll make the decision, and that's what teams have to do. They did it down here. They traded him to the Orioles. And they got a young pitcher that probably won't help him, if ever, for a couple of years. Yeah. There's that cut fastball and good ones.
So Adam down on strikes, a 3-up, 3-down inning for Diego Castillo.
Beckham and Jones, and then Smith, 24 steal into right field on the air. You're out, except Beckham drops it. And they would get another run, and then right here, with the Orioles leading at 3-2, Beckham can't find the base. They will score this in error. They would have had the third run on this little sacrifice fly. Gomez tagging up, scores easily on a throw that was high and wide. So those are your Geico highlights. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you can save. Another nice game by Andrew Kashner. 10 runs his last game tonight. He pitches really well. 3 runs, only one of them earned. Again, not overpowering, but certainly with some offense. But what, for the 20th out of 22 times, 3 runs or less. So he's going to get a no decision.
And there's a base hit. Matt Duffy greeting Tanner Scott with a single, so the potential go-ahead run is on. Leading off here in the 8th.
Well, Tanner, again, we've seen him, and you know, when he's been good, it's been the slider. I mean, that's 97, but it's in the middle of the plate. And when a guy has that arm, what are you hitting off? 97. And so pretty good numbers. Numbers have come down, mostly because he's been able to use his slider. And again, you know, right-handed number. It was even higher before the last outing. But still learning at this level that you can't pitch in the middle of the plate with a fastball.
So here is Jake Bauers. Ball one outside. Tanner Scott was the winning pitcher on Sunday in Texas. He has a win and a loss since the All-Star break. Ball 2.
Yeah, when he's been getting his slider over, very rarely gets hit. In fact, what does he have? 3 strikeout innings, I think, all year. As you look at Romo, who has assumed the role of closer here in Tampa, or on the road for the Rays.
Two and 1 is the count.
Yeah, Bauers with 1 sacrifice fly, but no sacrifices. So Kevin Cash not thinking about moving the runner via the bunt.
Over line pitch. Tanner got the call, so 2 and 2.
Well, there's the one on the corner.
That's a big swing pitch there today.
We'll take a look to see if he moves the glove a little bit. Well, what it does, it sets up the count to throw a slider. And he hangs it. Kind of backs up a little bit.
Mike Wright again getting loose. Second time he's been up tonight.
Well, Bauers, I mean, he hangs in against lefties. Not a lot of at bat, but 250. 2 home runs, 2 of his 9 home runs. So if you're Kevin Cash, you don't automatically have to platoon.
And he got him. 98 down in the zone.
Well, Jimmy, it looked like he started swinging because of the velocity when he started winding up. And again, I mean, it's right around the knees. Wasn't a slider. It's just 98-mile-per-hour fastball. And one thing about Tanner Scott, it's so smooth. I think it might be a little bit straight only because you kind of read the way they hit that fastball. But when he keeps it out of the middle of the plate, very, very effective.
He now has 51 strikeouts in 34 2/3 innings. Chases Duffy back. Joey Wendell RBI single in the first.
Yeah, 8 steals on the year. As we told you, Alex Smith's 24 now, so maybe they'll try to go on the first move. That slider again, I mean, very rarely does it get hit. did, and it ends up in the middle of the plate. And then you also get a guy that's not trying to overswing. You know, Wendell's trying to play pepper. You let Tanner Scott provide the velocity. Yeah, we talked about it doesn't get hit too often, but look at the approach, right back up the middle. Another guy that, you know, over 280 against lefties.
Well, C.J. Crone has come out on deck to pinch hit for Ji-Man Choi, and here comes Buck Showalter. So it looks like we're going to have the righty-righty matchup. Tanner Scott will exit 2 on 1 down in a tie game in the 8th. $9.99. You can watch every out-of-market regular season game, plus get a free subscription to MLB At Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv to take advantage of this special offer. Well, Tanner Scott out of the game, and here's Mike Wright.
Yeah, it got roughed up a little bit in Texas, and boy, that hasn't been the case lately. And also gave up the home run in New York. The Orioles won that game 7-5, so the numbers have come down, still high collectively. And done a nice job, only 5 of the 20 inherited runners, and that's his task right here. Tie ball game. We kind of told you that he's going to be pitching in these situations, and a lot different than when you're pitching long relief. You know, and again with Brock, and you know, Brock's down at Atlanta. You know, Day's on the disabled list. Britton playing for the Yankees. A lot of opportunities to kind of again project what's going to happen in 2019. And grown 17 of his 22 home runs against righties. There's a real good pitch. We've seen a lot of good things from Mike Wright. You know, the last 2 outings, I mean, it looked like the game in Texas just didn't have his rhythm. So he was around everything, falling off to the left, but we haven't seen that very much.
Well, he has had success against Crone, who is 0 for 7 against Mike Wright.
And you'd love to make a pitch, get a double play ball in.
And he has bounced into 9 double plays on the year. It's ahead 2 balls and a strike.
But this is new territory for Mike Wright, pitching in the 8th inning of tie ball games, and you know, it's a test. You know, maybe ace the final. Because you'll get in the final more often. And see that ball just pulled way off. So
in a tie game, the go-ahead run at second. Another runner at first, and 3-1 on Crone, who could sit on his pitch.
Okay, that's nice though. That's nice.
Tip.
yeah, you go back to maybe end of April and May, that would have been 89 and 91. So we've seen more velocity Still one of the best fastballs, even though he would give up a 3-run home run on a cutter in New York in that 7-5 win. What, about a week ago, that last game in New York, velocity's really come up.
At 3-2, we'll see if Kevin Cash sends the runners. They do not go. It's foul back.
No, I think he'll take his chance with his. There's no way. Very rarely do you ever see them start runners at first and second, obviously, unless there's 2 outs, and then you're going automatically. But he's just the Earl Weaver theory. If you're Kevin Cash, with whatever you do, pop up, strike out, just don't hit into a double play. That means we get 2 shots to get the go-ahead run. We go to our closer if we get the lead.
Another foul ball.
Yeah, good fastball. 96 ran in. And I think if you're Mike Wright, and I was there early in my career, you're just going to trust your stuff right here. Target the middle. Ball missed by what, a foot? So what? Good velocity, good movement. He's not the type of guy at this point in his career to be just trying to throw the low and away fastball. Now it may go there, but make him put the ball in play. Take your chances.
And he got him. A huge out for Mike Wright.
And that's exactly what he does. It gives you a little bit of confidence. As long as you throw the ball well, and as long as, again, I mean, that's it almost looks like a 2-seamer, but that's 96 up and away. And that's in that quadrant. We're talking about the strike zone quadrant that is hard to get to. And again, just imagine you're sitting on the bench. If you're C.J. Cron, do you want to be taking a borderline pitch? No, you're swinging.
Right.
Couldn't catch up.
Roger McDowell making notes.
Good notes. Yeah. Hayes starts.
Good pitch. Check.
Real good pitch.
It's Carlos Gomez. He scored the tying run last inning.
And there's that cutter at 91. So we've seen that. Probably we've seen change-ups. He's kind of mixed in all his pitches. I don't think he's going to throw that pitch here.
Gomez scored on a sacrifice fly to the shortstop. Beckham had to go out in the left field to get it. Gomez took off. Go by him again at 96, 0-2. And Romo's still getting loose. I wonder if he's going to come on anyway. At home, you could save a tie, if you will, and get your team up in the bottom of the ninth.
Yeah, you usually try to get your best pitcher in to pitch the ninth and then hope you win at the bottom of the ninth. And Romo's been pitching well.
Upstairs doesn't chase 1 and 2. Sergio in the bullpen. First and second, 2 down in this tie game.
Oh, gotcha.
There's Gomez. He's a veteran.
Well, you know he wants to swing, and you know that the only way he's going to do that, it has to appear. And ideally, you'd like to throw a strike to a ball pitch here, whether it's the cutter or a fastball right on the outside corner. But again, if you pitch in, he's probably going to get hit because that's what he does. And there's the cutter.
That ball is trouble, and it falls in for a base hit, and Tampa Bay gets the lead. Throw to second base and out at second base. Oh, safe! He slid around the tag of Beckham.
Wow, what a night. Valencia made the perfect throw. And again, I mean, you got a third baseman playing right field, so we talked about defensive metrics when we started the game. It's been a night of horrors for the Orioles defensively. Again, most guys, if that's Rickard, and then look at this throw. Perfect throw. Tag him. I suppose they're going to look at it. Rickard catches his ball. That guy goes, hey, if you're going to let it drop, I'm going to try to turn into a double, and the throw, I mean, perfect throw by Danny Valencia. Imperfect tag.
So second and third, Tampa Bay has the lead now at 4-3, and they are 3 outs away from a win. There's Kiermaier. That's a bloop to Beckham. And he's got it, and the inning ends. But the damage is done. 3 hits and a bloop RBI double with 2 down. Those come to bat, down by a run.
From the Red Sox, and he makes one of his few mistakes. Fastball up out over the plate, and he blasted the right center field. Home run number 16 of the year.
Hurry to your local Ford dealers for great savings on cars, trucks, and SUVs.
Yeah, boy, another one of those games where not a lot of opportunities, but all runs on solo home runs. And now you bring in Mr. Slideball. I mean, he had one of the better sliders. You know, doesn't throw particularly hard. Every once in a while, he'll mix in a fastball. Well, again, he's started on occasion. You know, again, one of the openers, as they call it down here. And a veteran guy that, you know, 43 saves back in 2013 for the Giants. And there's the slider. And they're all different speeds. You know, some will start like that's your front hip, you know, throw at the front hip of the right-hander. That's probably one of the more hittable sliders you ever see from Sergio Romo, but still fool him a little bit. And then he'll start one in the middle of the plate and just sweep it away. That one too, yeah. A couple of hittable sliders here. And Mark's going, that was my pitch. Yeah.
Well, here are the opposite field home run leaders on the Orioles. Mancini hit his 4th last night. Trumbo his 4th tonight. Davis has 2 the opposite way. Pedro Alvarez, Manny, and Chance Sisco each with 1.
And then the leader up in Boston.
Yeah, 10.
J.D.
Martinez
yeah.
has 10. That's his natural swing.
And he led the all major leagues last year. Opposite field home runs. It's not easy. I mean, I didn't hit all his home runs at the opposite field in Fenway Park, but he got to blast it there. I mean, a lot deeper there than in left field. So another 1-run deficit.
Yep. That one hung, and it's in for a base hit. Malik Smith was playing deep.
Well, 3 out of 4 hung.
The tying run is on, leading off in the 9th.
And you're going to get a pinch runner, I would imagine. Looks like Jason Peterson. Take a look right here. Very hittable slider. And Mr. T doesn't miss. Hadn't been missing much in the month of August. Another good offensive night for Mark Trumbo.
So Peterson pinch running. So the Orioles get the tying run on, leading off. Trumbo high fives on the bench. He has a 2-for-4 night. And here's Valencia.
Yeah, I think Kevin Cash back-to-back nights for Romo, and Kevin Cash and Alvarado throws close to 100. But every slider he's thrown, and only 3 of them have hung.
Might have been a fastball.
Well, he's been around and pitched so long that, again, you get a feel for your stuff. Ideally, you know that Valencia is a fastball hitter. If you look at the Oriole bullpen, Givens on the left, and Cody Carroll on the right.
So Givens, if the Orioles get the lead, Carroll if it's tied.
See, that's, I mean, you know what the matchup is. It dictates if you can throw your slider, but figure maybe I'll get out and get in the count, and then I can throw that was almost a ball-to-ball slider. You got strike-to-ball sliders. You got ball-to-strike sliders. That's the one he threw to Trumbo and got hurt.
And shift on. You wouldn't think that the Orioles would risk sending Peterson. He is a stolen base threat. And you certainly keep him close.
Certainly got a nice lead.
Valencia to right center field. Nobody's there. That ball's down for a base hit. Peterson will head to third. Valencia thinking two, and he puts on the brakes. And a wise move there by Valencia to stay put. So here come the O's down by a run, first and third, and nobody down.
Well, yeah, I mean, the irony of this, you talked about how Kiermaier usually plays everybody in right center. That's exactly where this ball's hit. Except, look at him, he's way on the left side of second base. Anticipating that maybe because of the lack of velocity that Valencia was going to pull it. So easily with any speed could have been second and third, but Danny doesn't run that well, but nice clutch hit.
Joey Rickard now to pinch run for Valencia. That's the go-ahead run. That was a really good at-bat by Valencia, down in the count.
I think he got another fastball to hit.
0-2 pitch, and he rips a single. Kiermaier with that speed Jim was talking about, at least he got to it to prevent it from getting by him so Peterson couldn't score. And here's Mancini. Runner goes from first, pitches outside. No throw to second base, and Rickard has stolen the bag.
Well, that'll work. Again, I mean, if you have advanced scouts, or they timed him probably last night, talking about Sergio Romo, and then of course Perez doesn't get it out of his glove, and if he does, it's just an air ball.
Well, I just looked. Opposing base stealers against Romo are now a perfect 6 for 6. They haven't caught one.
Well, they look at the time. We haven't seen Perez throw that much. Supposedly a good defensive guy. So now all of a sudden, you're in at first. Bowers, who's very good defensively, he's played 1 foot on the dirt, 1 on the grass. In case there's an infield roller, and then Duffy in at third, trying to cut off the run because there's no force play.
Trey has the count in his favor. Inside nearly hit him, ball 3.
Well, again, Romo not a hard thrower, so his slider has to work. And tonight so far it hasn't. Now, does he get the green light? If you're pitching, you never know. So that's why he'll probably throw a slider. Of course, Trey can look for a fastball, or I suppose he could look for a slider. There it was, a fastball taking.
Well, there's a ton of room in that right center gap again because Kiermaier this time is playing Mancini to pull.
Well, it's the guy on the mound. Everybody, the hard throwers, they play him the other side of second base.
That ball's crushed, deep left field. Back it goes. That ball is off the wall and in play. A diving try by Malik Smith. Here's Peterson to score. Here's Rickard to score. And a 2-run double by Mancini gives the O's the lead.
Well, number one, do you get a good pitch to hit? And the answer, of course, is yes. 3-1 slider. We told you, it's been horrible. It's going to get Cash out of the dugout, but it hangs. Look at this. And then, Smith makes a nice effort. I thought he was going to catch it, and Rickard is already almost to third base. So he would have had enough time because catching it and then the dive, but he scores easily on the double. So a clutch hit by Trey Mancini, who's had trouble getting him in all year long, and certainly very happy about it. Romo didn't have it tonight.
So Alvarado comes on with Davis coming up. The O's are back in front. Maryland's largest writer of workers' compensation insurance. Night in St. Petersburg, Trey Mancini with a 2-run double. So he gives the Orioles the lead. So the O's now are 3 outs away from a win. And here's Jose Alvarado.
Yeah, to Venezuela, Maracaibo, hard thrown lefty. Fastball, curveball, average fastball around 97. Not that hard, but at 95, so good numbers. Coming off a loss Friday night, double, intentional walk, another double against the White Sox. So yeah, another power arm, but inexperience. I mean, that's the big difference. Other than Romo, who's the finesser, a lot of young guys in the Rays bullpen, and there's that's a cutter, but maybe a slider, but a good one.
So Davis in another position to be able to advance a runner. Nobody down. You'd love to get Mancini to third. He's down in the count now, 0-2. Well, Michael Gibbons now the only reliever up because the Orioles have the lead. Cody Carroll sits down and doesn't want to use all of his bullets down there, so he's at the moment just watching the game. Davis has seen Alvarado just 3 times. He is 0 for 3. One and 2 on Chris. Center field, that'll chase Kiermaier, tagging his Mancini. Kiermaier has it for the out, and Mancini will get to third. There's a real good team at bat by Chris Davis. He did exactly what he needed to do, get Mancini to third.
Well, he took that cutter earlier in the count, and then that time he was able to hit it to center field. And again, because of his strength when he makes contact, able to get him all the way to third base. And now they're going to play their infield in, and it makes Renato Nunez a better hitter.
He needs a hit. His hitting streak's on the line. He's hitting 7 straight. That is a big run out there at third base if the Orioles can get Mancini in.
Even though I'm sure he would take a sacrifice fly.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, get another run in. And there's 99.
So he's getting loose.
Well, apparently so. First one's 99. Next fastball is, or first fastball is 95. Second one's 99. And That's the curveball.
That's not fair. 99 to 84. That was a real good call by Perez, the catcher.
Well, Castillo, who came in before Romo, I mean, you know, he throws 96.7. You know, we saw Glasnow, he was throwing 99. He had some good arms.
Nothing in 2 on Nunez.
And there's 97. And the other thing is, if you look at in the minor leagues, I mean, for a young kid, you know, the walks are up pretty good, 229 innings. You always look at that. More strikeouts, obviously, than innings pitched with this kind of arm. But the walk's 153. So, since he's come to the big leagues, it's calmed down a little bit. Last year, almost 30 innings, only 9 walks.
Oh, and 2. And he got him. Something off speed at 89 and 2 men down.
That's kind of the cut fastball. Of course, look where he throws it. It's up and in. So you have to hit that ball. I mean, if you just think of a swing of a baseball player, where do you hit the ball up and in? Your swing has to hit it out in front. So that's, you know, the swing actually the bat has to travel farther to hit that ball, and sometimes you just can't get to it.
And here's Caleb, infield back at normal depth.
That's 98 with unbelievable movement.
In case you're wondering, he has thrown 1 wild pitch. It was a good idea to look at that column with the runner at third. A 1-1 on Caleb, who is 0 for 3.
There's another slider that goes straight down. Well, if you ever want to know why you go down to the Latin America and you look for players, whether it's the Dominican Republic or in this case Venezuela, you get this kind of arm for $50,000. Now you got to bring him here, make him assimilate himself to this culture, and teach him maybe a windup or whatever. But $50,000? What a bargain.
Good take. And a nice block by Perez.
Well, that's what you were talking about. You know, the fact that he's able to move up. Don't think that Kevin Cash, who, as we mentioned last night, you know, was a catcher at the major league level, doesn't appreciate that block.
As Diaz giving him a little time to regain his composure. Ball hit him somewhere.
Well, he got hit in the groin area last night. Had to take a little extra time.
Mancini's at third with 2 down. He drove in the runs to give the O's the lead with a 2-run double. Ground ball is short. There's Adames. And he gets it to first to get Caleb, and that'll do it. So Alvarado does his job, but Trey Mancini's 2-run double has given the O's the lead heading to the bottom of the ninth. stays in the game defensively in right field. And here's Michael Givens on for the save.
Well, got a save in Texas. A little different story, though. It was 9-6. Came in, through 16 pitches. He was very efficient with a strikeout. Well, those last 2 appearances, very, very good. Certainly the opportunity to kind of do what I think he's capable of doing, which is close games.
It's pretty amazing. Tampa Bay involved in yet another one-run game. They've already played 47 games decided by 1 run. That is the most in Major League Baseball. And their last 4 games coming into tonight, 3 losses and a win, all 1-run games. And here they are again, 5-4.
Yeah, the whole weekend against the White Sox.
So here's Adames. Perez, the number 9 hitter on deck, and then Malik Smith. Line drive. Beckham has it for the out and 1 down. So Adames guessed right, but he hits it right at Beckham. A little ice cream going on the back end there. Well, he held on.
I think the book on Willie Adames is he can hit the fastball. This was a walk-off. I mean, that ball's right down the middle. He whacks it. And you're right about in the webbing.
Whoops.
Yeah. 1 pitch, 1 out. Well, my whole point to Michael Givens, and I think anybody that's ever been around the game, is closing a lot of times. Other than the mental, it's an easier situation than coming in and as a setup man. A lot of times you have runners on, clean inning. Of course, if we were in the National League, they'd probably be pinch hitting. Again, Shirley has this stuff. It's just a matter of mentally being able to do that. I just think he got in bad habits, swinging the leg a little bit too much. Lines were much better. Of course, it's never been about stuff. It's been about command.
Well, on Sunday, he converted the save. And that was the first save chance for the Orioles since Zach Britton and Brad Brock were both traded. Now, Paul Fry could have had one, but Buck Showalter took him out of the game, and then Mike Wright went in. He needed one more out in New York. So Sunday, when Michael went in, that was the very first save opportunity since the trades, and he converted it. Now, Mike Wright, he got out of the 8th inning. He would pick up the win here if the Orioles hold on.
That's a good changeup. And you have to go back. Of course, they didn't play particularly well behind Mike Wright, and they got the little looper. And then once he made the perfect throw, Beckham didn't make the tag, but they easily could have added runs. So, that 5-4 lead may be 5-5.
Right field, that's playable for Rickard. Always there, and 2 men down. And again, the shame of this game is Andrew Kashner, another quality start for the Orioles. It's now 50 quality starts on the year. And starters have gone in the 50 starts 18-14 because of the bullpen struggles afterwards and maybe the lack of run support. So that
and also then throwing the defense, and it's a lot of things. And right here, hey, got a guy that can steal, be aggressive. Only hit 1 home run. I mean, I did see him hit a home run from the left side. Blasted to left center field last year, but he's not a home run guy.
Tanner Scott came on to begin that 8th. He was charged with the run that at the time was the go-ahead run. And Cini's big hit now with the O's in front.
Did that? Oh, I didn't even see that. I saw they went like, 9 back?
Buck Showalter used his bench perfectly tonight. He had 2 speed guys on the bench in Rickard and Peterson. They both pitch ran in the 9th. Peterson able to easily go 1st to 3rd on the single by Valencia and the great play by Kiermaier. And after the stolen base of Rickard, they both score on the double by Trey Mancini. And he saved the speed for the end. A little bit low.
Yeah, and just the read of Joey Rickard on that ball. He just read it perfectly. As part of being a good base runner. And of course, once he's in the game, he becomes a plus defender in the outfield, especially in this ballpark where you got to be able to run him down.
2-2 on Malik Smith. Slicing foul down the line. Mancini overruns out of room, and it's in that picnic area down there.
Yeah, Michael Gibbons still isn't the point in his career as a converted infielder that, all the fastballs, targets have been on the inside part of the plate, and all the fastballs been away. And I think what Caleb does is to get him to focus just on staying on that inside part of the plate and just, hey, throw me a strike. If it's away, fine. If it's in, fine. Just throw it in the mid to upper 90s. And we'll take our chances. Once again, that target right there, and that ball right down the middle, but it's going to.
The arm bobbles, throws, and safe at first base is Malik Smith. Oh my goodness, the defense in this game.
Well, I think what happened, Jim, the ball's hit hard, but I think because he's playing deep, he's almost right where the carpet and the dirt merge. So take a look, and again, it is down the middle, hit hard, but again, it might have hit the lip. Now, again, it should be an out, but here you can see, again, about 2 feet, maybe a foot and a half, and then once with Smith's speed, so all of a sudden you have 24 stolen bases over at first base. You got a line drive contact hitter at the plate. So the 27th out became another error tonight.
4 errors in the game by the Orioles.
And now, of course, the whole outfield moves a little bit deeper, especially Adam Jones at center, because it's kind of a prevent double defense. But Smith's got the kind of speed because he'll be running on contact with 2 outs. A long single could score him.
There have been 2 caught stealing and 4 stolen bases with Michael Gibbons on the mound. There goes Smith. Throw to second by Caleb is high, and it gets into center field. And Smith will end up at third.
This is unbelievable. Not a good throw by Caleb. Probably wouldn't have made any difference, but just catching the thrown ball or the hit ball tonight for Oriole defense, not easy.
A 5-error game.
Well, the only good news is that, number one, you don't have to worry about him stealing a base because he's already at third. And for Michael Gibbons, it's not an easy task. Get Duffy out and the game's over.
Line right at VR. The game is over. And the Orioles survive and even up this series here at a game apiece. Wow. 5-error game, and the Orioles somehow win it. So the tying run left stranded at third, a line drive by Duffy, but he hits it right at VR. So 2 errors in that 9th inning, but the Orioles hang on and win it 5-4. So a big game for Trembo. Home runs by Jones and Beckham, and Mancini's 2-run double the difference. We invite you to join us tomorrow. More O's action. Rubber game of 3 against Tampa Bay. Our